Shout out to our sponsors at IconBet. Open source, decentralized gaming, no deposits, play straight from your wallet. IconBet, made by the players, for the players.
We'll get started because I've got an hour, and after this, me and Arkengraph are recording the news for the week. So maybe by the end of it, Lisa and Peter will just let drop this new project that they've hinted at every time we've jumped on a call together. So no pressure. But okay, cool. Let's dive in. First thing, everyone should know it is community session. I know I do the most of the talking in terms of asking the questions, but everyone can ask questions, not just me. That said, first things, let's just start with Omm. It's finally out. Dakey, how are you, Lisa, Peter, and the bigger team feeling that it's finally out the door? Well, just congratulations, and how are you feeling about everything?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's been pretty good to finally get it out. We got an email the other day saying that our domain was about to be renewed. It's been almost a year since we started work on this project, so it's really, really nice to finally have it out in the wild and having people use it. So really happy with it so far.
Great. Yeah, agree. I can see people have been the USDS interest rate's gone even higher. I didn't think that was even possible. So great success in that regard. Dakey, how about you? I know you've been plugging away. I think when I look at Omm, I feel due to partners and various other pieces that were at play, it didn't rush out the gate in terms of there was time and you wanted to you ensured that you shipped the product you always envisioned from day one. So that must be a real good feeling in the team. And wait, he's dropped off the call. Okay. Oh well.
I can't hear me. I'm sure he's ecstatic.
he's so excited he can't talk.
Exactly. He's just jumped off, ran away. Cool. I think one of the other things I wanted to quickly touch on with Omm now that it's launched, and I thought Dakey, but we'll come back to that. It was more around what are we seeing at the moment? What are the most common questions we're getting hit with in the Discord group that the team could talk about and wanted to air out? If I don't know if anyone else is across it at the moment and wanted to comment on that.
I guess the main one I've seen has just been about the APY and the APR rates, just because at the moment they are still quite low because there isn't a lot of volume going through it yet, and the Omm tokens aren't live yet, so that is having an impact on it. So I think once we start the reward distribution tonight, then that will help to ease people's minds a little bit, and they'll see more reason to move over from balance rather than just keeping the money in balance until pools are live on the 31st of August. So I think that has definitely had probably been the biggest question that I've seen. It's just been about the interest rate side of it. But yeah, once the Omm kicks in, it'll be a bit different. Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed on that as well, so I think we go live today with the Omm rewards. However, we probably won't see that APY percentage jump until there's a listing, obviously, and there's some kind of price going on with the Omm tokens. So that would be at the end of the month as well. So yes, it's a good one, Lisa. It's something I see mentioned a lot. That said, though, can we just put it in perspective? USDS is still 74%. That's just basic interest on lending and borrowing. So
it's pretty epic.
Yeah,
even USD borrowing at that rate. To be fair,
yeah, who's paying 92%?
Well, this was the question I went to Dakey with in the forums. I'm like, hey, what? But why? There's no rewards yet. But anyway,
that is something I don't understand, honestly. Dakey gave us an answer. I just didn't get that. I still don't get it. But they're just prepared. They want to be like the very first ones to earn rewards when it starts. I guess. I mean that's somewhat fair, I guess. Yeah.
I think it was there were some people who just I asked someone a similar question. I think they just kind of wanted to experiment and play with it a little bit. And ultimately, at the time the rates were lower than they are now. And I think it wasn't, if it's 2 or 3 days of a high rate, it's really not the end of the world, I don't think, in terms of the cost of experimenting and being early. So that's one anecdotal response I got.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Look, this morning I saw USDC. I keep saying USDC, I mean with the I in front. It's good to see it climb up, to 2%. But anyway, Scott, I think once we get these pools listed especially the BNUSD and USDC pool, we should start seeing a bit more demand, etc., from people wanting to play around and just put some stuff in into that liquidity pool. I guess my first question there, Scott, is this particular pool, when it launches, will it have a 24-hour time lock on it?
It will, yeah. Anything that uses balanced rewards, because we don't have the continuous like block by block rewards, because we have the snapshot, which block by block is currently in the implementation stage. It's something we want to test thoroughly, of course. So probably looking at next month, I'm hoping to have that implemented on balanced. But yeah, that's why we have to lock our pools that are like anything that's incentivized on balanced needs that kind of locking mechanism for the short term. But thanks to we can leverage some of the code from Omm's continuous rewards, so we're able to make some pretty fast progress there and be a little more confident in the implementation.
Oh, so will the USDC / BNUSD be incentivized in any way?
Oh, true. I guess that's a fair point. I did just like minutes ago just alter the proposal that I had on the forum to include a 50 basis point allocation to that pool, because you really don't need all that much. I mean, if you're even getting just like a 10% return on that, then it's still something, plus the fees generated. So I just wanted to get something there in the beginning if we can. So talk to our devs. That's something we should be able to do with an on-chain vote. Hoping to get that vote started on Friday, so it could be live by next week.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good news. I didn't realize. It's great because it's a good pool. No IL, and at the same time, if you're getting any little bit of balance to it, it's like a win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Just cool. I guess. Look, Lisa, Peter, this is it. You're going to be answering questions on all the Omm questions, and I'll throw the balance stuff at Scott. Okay, so. Sorry, what did you say, Peter?
No pressure.
No, none at all. So, okay. Now, this is a good one. Actually, it's a great one to ask you all. So, what are you hoping? What features does Omm have? So, Balance has its features they want to add, right? You've just launched, but there's a list. I know there's a list. There's always a list of features you want to get out the gate right away. Can you give us some insights on what that list looks like? And you know what? Put your spin, what you would like that list to be, because I'm betting you two have a different desire compared to the rest of the team.
Honestly, for me at the moment, I just want to polish it. Once you launch, you notice there's a lot of things that need just tweaking and massaging to be a little bit better. So pretty much my entire life for the next little bit is just going to be about polishing everything that I can in it.
Yeah, for me, and in the initial designs that we had for we had charts. So when you expanded a market, it would show you the charts. So you could see how the APY or APR is changing over time. So you can, because the interest rates are variable, it's kind of hard to make a decision based on the current rate alone. Like you want to know how much it's changing. And so one of the features that we do want to put in very soon, if we can, is to be able to show the charts for the APY on supplying and borrowing. We just need to get some of the back-end data from Geometry Labs in order to do that. But that is definitely a very high priority, I think, for us. Then the other thing would just be to have full governance. So not just being able to vote for PREPs, but also being able to submit your own things to be able to change like the borrow fee or list new markets or that kind of thing. So yeah, the charts and the governance would be probably my two main things that I want to see added soon.
Cool. What request here? I guess a question as well that I've seen come up, and even myself and Icongrapher were talking in the background. The risk bar. Is there any way to give figures in a question mark, just like you did with Balanced, or is it because they're multiple assets, giving an exact figure is too difficult? That's why it's a percentage.
Yeah, unfortunately, we tried our hardest to get specific price points for but as soon as you add multiple assets, it gets very difficult to do so. So we had to just go percentage instead. just because, like you could have ICX that you've supplied, but then, if you're borrowed multiple assets, some of them might be stable and some of them might have their own price points. You're getting borrower interest that's being added every day. You're getting supply interest. Like, there are too many variables that if we were to even try to give a price to some of them, it wouldn't be accurate for very long. So it could actually hurt people a lot more. So in the end, we decided to just go with a percentage because that was going to be the simplest way of doing it. If you look at like Aave, they have what's called a health factor, and the goal was to keep it above 1. If you get below 1, then you get liquidated. But the problem is, if you're at like a 6, like how do you assess your risk? Like, it's very difficult to know like where just how much risk you have just based on that single number. Whereas if you have it based on a percentage, you know how much space you have on either side of that percentage to move. So that was kind of the only easy way that we could have to display that data. And the thing is, if we had for balance, we were considering having to move to that model too. So initially with the if we were going to have multi-asset loans that you were able to take out against one collateral type, so they would be in the same position, we would have to go to a risk ratio of 0 to 100% because there are different price points at play there. So you just can't reliably show price information there, unfortunately. So that is the way it is, how it is.
So the key is just, I think the easy thing to call is easy, but the people just need to be vigilant, and if the price starts to move, just keep an eye on what your risk percentage is, and if it drops a little bit, okay, we're still okay, and if it drops a lot, then you got to start reevaluating how much collateral you have or how much loan you have out. So it's just it's not really not that these ever are, but it's certainly a don't set it and forget it kind of situation. So
none of these products are, for that matter.
Yeah, that's the main lesson to take away.
Yep, that's great. No, look, and I've also picked that. That's why I asked, because I've seen a lot of that being asked, and I've also picked up across various platforms. It's kind of the same issue they face, and they can't give specifics because of these reasons. So it's good to air that out and everyone know that. Okay, so next thing, I think, while we're on this theme as well, so we've got let's just get this out of the way. We've got the airdrip, we've got the airdrop. Can we just clarify that, because I can see already, I know when I did the Omm tutorial, the channel just got asked heaps of questions. Oh, did you know this? Did you know that? About the airdrip or airdrop. No one was actually wanting to learn to use the platform. They're more interested in the airdrip and airdrop. So can we get a bit of clarity around that? So the airdrip is just like the balanced airdrip, where if you voted for PREP in a traditional manner, when I mean via IconX and just staking directly to the PREP, that's where your ICX, what you have staked, qualifies for the airdrip. And that's the same for Omm as well?
Yes, the same situation. So I've seen a few questions about that. If anyone is holding SICX, either an Omm or a balance, that doesn't apply for the airdrip. It's only if you've staked it in an Icon wallet and voted for PREP, so you'll get the airdrip. But and it'll be the same as the balance one, where it is just a recurring every week. You'll be able to claim more. Whereas on the inverse, the airdrop is a one-time thing. There's a set amount, so it's not based on how much with the airdrop, it's based on how much ICX you've used to vote, whereas for the airdrop, it's a static number, so everyone gets rewarded fairly, which is quite nice. But yeah, there's a bit more involved in that one, so you have to have already qualified for it already. Like by the time we announced it, that was kind of the cutoff for being able to qualify, but now you just have to participate in certain ways based on which airdrop that you qualify for to be able to claim that.
Yeah, ideally we would have called them something completely different, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Cool. What about, okay, I've noticed Gio's actually, he did say before the session he wouldn't talk in here, and I didn't realize he was being serious, but he is asking questions though. So one of the questions he's asked is, are you going to be able to swap ICX/SICX for USDS? If so, when exactly?
Yeah, so that would be when we list the USDS pool on balance. So at this stage, I'd say the latest will be the 31st of August when we open up the OMM pools, because we'll have the pools. So OMM will be against USDS, IUSDC, and SICX, so they'll have those on the 31st of August.
Yeah, that's right. So
just,
I
just
noticed.
to jump in there, like that's probably for the same reason that what's it called, USDS is yielding like what 70% on Omm right now. It's a very difficult coin to come around. So for those that are able to mint it, could be profitable. But the main thing is the pool that we have on balance probably will be fairly low liquidity for the same reason that Omm is low liquidity on USDS.
Yeah,
It's going to take some time to get a lot of USDS minted, but there's plenty incentive to do so. I'm minting just as much as I can.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a real good point, Scott. Glad you brought that up. I did notice definitely all the pairs were against Omm. So essentially, you will be able to move everything in and out, but in some way, it's touching the Omm token and then moving back, which is cool. But with the crowd, I lost my train of thought. Oh well,
Nice.
We'll come back to it. Damn, these lockdowns are killing me.
you and us,
Okay. Well, let's. It was. Sorry, Gio had one more question. I'll look at what. Okay. So. Yes, I got my train of thought back. So can you spend a bit of time, and I've seen this asked a fair bit, and talk through why USDS is different to USDC, and I'm talking more about the custodian part. Yeah, so we know USDC essentially is meant to be backed one by one, but the difference is Coinbase and Circle manage the entire aspect of burning and minting. And what's different about USDS?
Yeah, I'd say, USDS is kind of more of like a direct interaction for each end user with the minting and burning process, as opposed to like just trading USDC for US dollars or trading USDS for USDC, or sorry, USDS for US dollars. It's much more like you pretty much, for people that mint USDS, you're opening up an account with a trusted custodian, you're depositing USD, that USD gets swept into like a large pool of USD. And once your money hits the pool of USD, then they mint the USDS and send it to and then you can send it to your wallet. So I think from my understanding, Bridge is in the process of integrating that flow like directly into the Bridge widget. So it'll feel even more like you're just transferring money between bank accounts, which is really what we're trying to get at, right? Is the whole vision with Omm. Like I even texted like just about everyone I know that's willing to take some risk and said, just go to the Omm website and log in with Bridge and try and deposit cash, because I think they're going to be able to figure it out. It's a very, consumer, non-crypto folks friendly product, and it allows them to. It's very similar feeling to transferring, your money from your personal bank account to, let's say, like Robinhood or something. But instead of doing that, you're minting a stable coin. But to the end user, you may not necessarily even think about it that way.
Yep. No, great. I have a question, Snow on Sea. So it's a good one. If USDS is backed 1-for-1 by Stably, then how do we earn that much interest? 50% or more on Stably? Is Stably collect?
It's on Omm.
Yep.
Yeah. The 50% is getting paid by the people who borrow it.
Yep. Good call out. So then the question keeps going: is Stably collecting more USD to match the interest? Is USDS minted to pay the interest? So it revolves around, the interest is coming from the borrowing aspect, but how is that extra USDS coming into the system if it's backed 1-to-1? I think that's where the question, how does it correlate to the 1-to-1 backing?
I think this is just a little bit of maybe an aha moment for this person, but this is rehypothecation. This is just how banking works. Like this is, you create kind of extra money. Someone has debt and someone else has borrowed it. Or some, one person's lending and they feel like they still have the asset, but they don't. Like there's no new USDS getting created anywhere. It's just, someone's going to have to pay back their debt. And if they don't, they default. And the people who lent the USDS are not going to be able to get that. It's just,
yes. They actually said, thank you for the explanation. That's why the borrow/supply percentage is at insane rates, right? There just isn't enough there, and everything's just circulating. Yep. So
right. Yeah.
It's a good
Basically everything,
it's a good question.
almost every last dollar of USDS is basically being deposited, but more importantly, like every possible dollar that can be borrowed. It
Yeah, I
looks
mean,
like
what's the
seemingly is.
utilization rate? I'm not in front of a computer, but I would expect it to be extremely high right now.
Yeah. So every like the pure use case of USDS at this moment in time, which will always change very quickly, is basically borrowing it. So that's what everyone's essentially doing. So it looks like it's
Yeah.
it looks like there's way more floating around than there really is. But as Scott kind of said, that's just how finance works. That's how finance works.
Yeah. Finance. That's the answer. Finance.
Yeah. Crossover.
Cool. Okay. So then I guess my next question, I mean, always comes down to we've got this launch now. BTP, when you throw BTP into the equation, we're using Orbit Bridge for USDC. Actually, let's make this a two-part. What's the next asset we're hoping to bring across via Orbit Bridge? Have Lisa, Peter, Scott, have you got some views on? You have to have some views. If you're not, being a light shown on you to go answer it, please share your views.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what's it called? The good first proof of concept is just using an asset that probably a lot in the Icon community already hold, and that would be Ethereum. So I'd like to use Ethereum as a collateral type on Balanced through the Orbit Bridge. And then from there, I was also thinking today, and I wrote this in the Balance Discord, but like it's kind of like a relationship business in a way, and communities are really important. And what's one of the top communities out there is definitely the Link Marines. They're really aggressive and really passionate. So maybe we can try and leverage their community by adding Chainlink tokens as a collateral type on Balanced, and promoting that within their community would be a good way to spread awareness. So that's the kind of strategy that I'm thinking for Balanced, at least.
I can feel Donnie itching right now. He's over the moon. He probably can't talk because as soon as he hears Chainlink, he loves it. Anything to do with Bandit, Chainlink, he's all over. I'm surprised he hasn't voiced up already. Okay, so Scott, I'm gonna throw something at you here now. So I'm excited about ETH. I agree. Like one of the things we've noticed straight away, and if we reflect a little bit, the bridge has been established for a while. We had one ETH pair, not a lot of liquidity got there, even not a lot of all the tokens that were supported by the bridge, because at the end there was no real, not much going on. But as soon as we've got the money markets and some DeFi protocols, we've seen, look at how much USDC has just migrated across. We're already at 2 million, and I'm guessing that's just what I'm seeing listed on Omm, and it's probably far more, but we'll see the same thing happen with ETH. But coming back to what Balance does best is give staking rewards, using staking assets as collateral, and you're getting your rewards back. Is there something in the background that we're working with Lido or anyone in where we can actually move across a staked version of ETH the same way SICX and kind of use it in that same exact way? That way you can use ETH as collateral, get your entire staking rewards, and mint at a 1.5% fee, or maybe other assets should get charged a little higher in fees. But anyway, you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I mean, the what's it called? The way we could do that is relatively simple. It's just like we just need to use a token like SICX. We would need to find, I think there's like ST ETH in the Ethereum ecosystem. So instead of bridging over ETH, we would just bridge over ST ETH, and whoever is operating ST ETH, like they handle the actual staking rewards. But just bridging the token itself. Like if we bridged SICX over to any other network, like over to Ethereum for liquidity pools, then ICX holders could what's it called? Still earn their staking rewards and be an LP for like some pair on Uniswap if we ever did that. It's just about which token you bridge. You would never, if you want to get the staking rewards, you wouldn't want to bridge the actual protocol token. You'd want to bridge like the wrapped stake version.
Cool. I'm so happy to hear you say that. And I don't know, everyone on this call, this is quite big. In my eyes, it's huge news. Because I think if we can
it's
do
gonna
it,
happen. I don't think there's any doubt in my view. Like when we're working with like these BTP partners, I'm sure they have similar issues with their DeFi protocols when there's opportunity cost by not having the staked version. So I'm sure they all have that front of mind, like Harmony and Near. Polkadot parachains. I know like LDOT is something that is in development. Liquid Dot, so staked version of Dot.
Yes, yeah, there is. I think it seems like the STE that's done by Lido, they're working with a few different to create similar versions for different assets. So it'll be interesting.
So we'd be happy to bridge over Lido assets essentially, or Lido, whatever, however it's called.
Yeah, I had to look it up for my video 10 times and still got it wrong. So cool. Okay, that's great. Lisa, Peter, any 2 cents you want to throw in there from a BTP perspective?
Not really. I would have just said, ETH as well would have been the main one. Honestly, I'm more excited to get balanced dollars listed on Omm than anything else.
Yeah, true. Balanced dollars and balanced tokens, and then vice versa. OSICX or whatever you guys call it, unbalanced as a collateral type is going to be pretty sick.
Yeah, I was going to ask. There's plenty of BNUSD I think floating around there. How come it, I guess, wasn't one of the initial markets? And I guess when is there a timeline on when that'll be?
I think Dakey wanted the what's it called, the full pegging mechanism live first. Which we're going to have live at the end of the month, or at the beginning of at our next roadmap upgrade, which is the first Monday of every month is when we target. So that's when we should have the full stability mechanism where we have 5% peg in each direction, and it won't fluctuate more than that.
That makes sense.
So Scott, how is the testing going? I know that version's on testnet at the moment, isn't it? How's testing going?
It's going well. We actually have there's another enhancement pushed into this that so right now the way rebalancing works, I don't know. I mean, trying not to get into too much detail, but it takes groups of 50 people, and it pretty much does at maximum 1% of their total debt, and or it would also do maximum of 1,000 SICX rebalancing per group, or 1%, whatever's lower. And then what we're doing is we're going to lower that from 1% to 5 basis points. It's a huge drop, and that will make the rebalancing spread across everybody and be much smoother. So it's not you would feel it nearly as much. So I'm really, really excited about that, because I have it in the roadmap, and you'll see that we wanted to get something going that we could rebalance against all borrowers equally in one transaction, but that actually proved not to be possible from a implementation standpoint. So we had this other solution that worked out that's going to make it feel much closer to that. And then so I'm really excited to have that upgrade in there, and doing reverse rebalancing, which is going to add collateral to your position and add debt to your position, is also going to be live September 6th. So there is some benefit there where you're now buying and selling ICX as a borrower, not just always having your collateral sold. So it should net out in your favor. And what's it called? So just something else to be ready for and pay attention to as a balanced borrower.
Yeah, very excited for this change. I think a lot of people are for this implementation. Good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, definitely want everyone to be aware of the fact that they'll start receiving more ICX collateral and having some debt added to their position. So gotta be watching your position closely. As always, though, you should always be watching closely. But if you're close to liquidation, you could get reverse rebalanced, and it could push you over the edge. So be cognizant, pay attention to your position, and just generally speaking.
Yeah. No, and Lisa, not to take away what you said, I agree. I mean, it's the first question I was asking as well. I was all for community votes, but for this one, everyone will understand. Just list BNUSD. Let's get some, interest on top of already the staking rewards we get for minting BNUSD. So I'm with you, and I can't wait for that to actually come about.
Make the products much more complementary and less cannibalistic.
Yeah.
And same with the with adding OSICX as a as a collateral type unbalanced, then you can lend on Omm and also get leverage unbalanced. Will be really interesting.
Yeah, the old triple tap. I love it. Can't wait for that.
Yep. Gotta love,
Cool.
gotta love leverage. Get that TVL going.
Yep. Again, just a reminder, anyone can speak up. I know. Yeah, if you want to ask questions, please fire away. I can see on the chat. I'm trying to actually. I saw some questions. I forget about the chats. No, nothing there. Okay, so let me go back to my question list. Sorry, where are we? Okay, so look, one of the other things, I guess, and Icongrapher was when we were chatting in the background. We know the teams have worked together. Obviously, Parrot 9 and some of the teams that built a lot of balance have also helped with Omm. So, what future? What are you envisioning in the future working together? What's it going to look like? How's that going to work?
I mean, we already work together very closely. I'm trying to think of like what exactly is an answer to your question. I don't know. Me and Dakey work together a lot. We brainstorm a lot. We're always going to be looking to see how to make both projects as successful as possible. So I don't know if there's anything else specifically we're looking for.
Yeah, on our side, it would be, I guess, just how the design of one project informs the other. So, like at the moment, we've got balanced the governance, at least the first version of it, whereas on Omm, we've got the Parrot voting. So we want to be able to combine the two and have like a very similar feel of like the complete governance. So it's really a matter of, what we do in one product informs the other. So even with how the icon market works, with the ability to deposit ICX and SICX, we're going to look at doing something similar for balance. So instead of depositing SICX from your wallet, you can actually do it from the collateral section for it to not be confusing to users. So there are certain things that we can easily take from our learnings on one project and port them over to the other, so that they're both very consistent, and we've got users to be able to test it with and stuff. So yeah, that definitely helps a lot to be working on both of those projects.
Cool. No, that's great. Okay, so one of the questions, like when I was telling everyone if they had, a lot of the community were keen, and I don't know if y'all are comfortable answering this, but they were keen to get ideas of some of the strategies y'all are putting together via the DeFi platforms y'all are actually using across Balance and Omm. I don't know, Lisa, Peter, Scott, do you feel comfortable sharing some thoughts with everyone? And obviously, it's not
strategy?
financial advice. Yeah. So, for example.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'll let Lisa maybe handle that one. I try and stay away from financial advice given where I am.
To be honest, we're pretty passive users of our products. We kind of, because we get the worker tokens, we want everyone else to be able to benefit from the platforms more. So we're not actually trying to extract a lot of value out of them ourselves. So for the most part, we're just kind of supplying and earning those rewards. Like on Balance, we have small loans, but we're not. Our purpose isn't to try and farm as many Balance tokens out of it as possible. We're kind of just leaving that for everyone else. So we're not just another way of taking it away from other people. So that's kind of been our approach so far.
Yeah, we want to use them just so we can keep on, improving on them, but we want all the rewards
to go to the users as opposed to ourselves.
That's a great answer, and thank you. Yes, but I totally get it. Yeah, that's good to hear. I think one thing I just thought of, Bridge, we're seeing TVL, we're seeing all these numbers. Have we got any info or stats in the first, since going live, how many signups we've had via Bridge? Because I mean, that is the end goal, right? With Omm, it is trying to attract a user base that we haven't been able to, traditional crypto dApps and stuff have not been able to tap into because it's too complicated. Have we got any first few days numbers?
If we do, that's not something I have access to, so I'm not actually sure how many people we have had sign up through Bridge.
Only Dakey were here.
Yeah.
He's here. He's just not unmuted.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think. No, Dakey. Every time he's trying to, he gets kicked out. I don't know why.
I see. All right. Well, maybe he can type in the chat. I don't know, but I don't have those numbers either.
You can send some smoke signals.
I'm looking outside. Okay, cool. So look, a few more. I'll keep now diving into more some of the community members who have put up questions. So Jack, I did notice Jack was on the call. Nope. Okay. So one of his first questions is how staking balanced LP on Omm is going to work, and what benefits will it be? So I think over here, what's the benefits? How's it going to work, and what's the benefits of the LP being staked on Omm? Versus just, in my head, why do we need to do that process of staking the LP? What benefit does it add versus just automatically anyone who's got it in the pool gets the reward?
We would have loved for it to work that simply. We were really pushing for it to work that way. We didn't like the idea of having LP tokens and having to stake them somewhere else, but that seems to be the default for how DeFi on other platforms work. Like if you are using lots of Uniswap and stuff, you would have to go to another platform if you're wanting to earn like Curve rewards or that kind of thing. So for composability of balance and to not have it limited by our own developers working on it and listing and supporting all of these different liquidity pools that could be added. It was just, it seemed to make the most sense to have it separate, as much as we didn't want that to be the case. So.
Yep. No, I think, no, it's good. It's good because it gives Iconists, especially if you're just in the Icon ecosystem, all of a sudden when you see stuff like that in the other ecosystems, you're used to it. Yeah, I know, Lisa and Peter, it's irking you from a from a streamlined perspective, but yeah. So I guess my follow-up question with that was, Scott, is there plans to now, I know for balance the LPs were done a little bit differently, but now with Omm, obviously, that staking the LPs have made it come to light. Is there plans to make the LPs visible for balance and Omm in users' wallets, like MetaMask does when you do put in stuff for Uniswap and things like that?
In terms of the wallet side of things, not necessarily sure. That would be something that we would need to add on the HANA Chrome extension, which is possible. And then from the user experience standpoint on balanced, I don't think it's 100% necessary to actually show the number of LP tokens, because it's not a very meaningful number, but it's still just kind of used in the back end. Like you would just stake liquidity, and you would say, like, I'm staking 1,000 BNUSD, 2,000 balance tokens worth of liquidity, and then what's actually happening is you're locking up your LP tokens, for example. And yeah, I mean, being able to send and transfer LP tokens, the importance of it is kind of the composability, is being able to use them in other platforms and have other protocols interact with them more easily, like something like Optimus, or in the ecosystem Yearn.finance.
So, Scott, just building on that, do you want to flesh out an example of what it enables? Say, a lot of people, it's just new terminology, right? The whole experience in the Icon ecosystem from LPing is new, because we didn't do that with balance. Could you build on what you mean with Optimus in terms of Yearn?
Yeah. So what Optimus and Yearn do is, right now you have you supply a liquidity pool on Balanced, you claim your balance tokens, and then you can kind of choose what you want to do with them. You can stake them, you can lock them up. In the future, you'll be able to lock them up, or you can sell them. And what a protocol like Optimus would do is they would just like display a return to you, like an APY, and say, if you stake your LP tokens, we'll give you this much of a return. And what happens is once we have boosted balance similar to Curve, Optimus will probably lock a portion of it for 4 years and to increase Optimus's yield, and sell a portion of it to give yield back to their users. So essentially what they do is it's just like automating that process of claiming balance tokens and optimizing your yield. So they'll claim the balance tokens for you, sell them, and then give you the excess, essentially.
Cool, great. And this is a question by Jack as well. Is Omm also considering Boosted Omm? So similar to the recent proposal for balanced, the balanced tokens. Is Omm looking to follow a similar model?
Not that we've talked about currently. Maybe it could happen based on how it goes with balance, but yeah, it's a fine balance of trying to allow it to provide the most utility without making it extra complicated. So even with balance, with the boosted balance, it's going to be a very delicate dance just to make sure that we can do it in a way that is understandable and doesn't make it overcomplicate the entire product. So it's something we still have to approach very carefully.
I like that. That's good to hear, Lisa. You know what? I've been thinking, Scott, they must level you quite a lot. Like, you must come up with all these, intricate ways so we can do this, and then Lisa and Peter and the thing. Have you thought about this, Scott? You are. How would we make it work? It doesn't make sense. And back to the drawing board you go.
It's definitely a good dynamic there. Yeah, glad to have them on the team.
We drive Scott up the wall, I'm pretty sure.
Although, man, some of the ideas that him and Dave can come up with, like when we first heard about the OSICX being used as collateral on balance, we're like, oh my god, you guys are making this so hard for us.
Okay, that's great to hear. Okay, so I think one of the other features that we haven't spoken about with Omm, and is kind of a big one, is the not just staking your Omm tokens that you receive rewards. Bonus, awesome. But the other side of it is that what Omm you have correlates to the ICX. You can kind of vote with it to direct your ICX to PREPs. Now, this is kind of a big thing because it is also the vision for it to go for balance in the same way, but it seems Omm has launched with this feature. Do you want to talk about how this changes things and what it means? So what does it mean for the Icon ecosystem in general, enabling this feature?
I think that I don't know, to me it's yet to be seen, which is I mean, it's definitely, it adds some tangible value to the protocol token, to block producers specifically, right? If you're a block producer on Icon and you want to up the amount of income you make as a block producer, in theory you would be able to buy balance tokens or Omm tokens and self-delegate, and there will be some ROI that you could calculate, right? Like if I buy $1,000 worth of balance tokens and use them to self-stake on my node, how much extra income will that make me? Will that make me an extra $1,000 a year? Then that would be a 100% return, and it would be extremely valuable to a PREP block producer to do that. So we'll see how much that return on investment is. Essentially, I think it's a very mathematical number in my view. It's either going to be valuable or it's going to be like a 0.001% kind of added bonus to block producers, and it won't be that interesting. So we'll see how much extra, like based on the return on investment, whether it's valuable or not. But I would say to kind of, that's kind of how I break it down for the self-staking purpose.
So the system is, though, essentially you can pick. How does that? I guess a quick overview of how that works is you can use it to delegate some ICX against a PREP, and but how does the ultimate choice? Does it get bundled into 5 PREPs get picked? Is there a limitation? Because Scott, I remember from a technical perspective, that's why some modifications were made from the balance. The original goal was to split all the SICX across all the PREPs, but that started to turn out these odd transactions that were quite high in nature.
Exactly.
Yes. So obviously changes were made. So with Omm, while the voting feature is in, does it have certain rules it has to follow to ensure that we don't fall into the same issue as last time?
I mean, how does Omm work right now? I'm actually not 100% sure. Can you vote for any number of PREPs? Is it any number, or is it just limited to a certain number?
So the way it works at the moment is you can vote for up to 5 PREPs, and the delegation will be split evenly among them. So you could vote for 1 PREP if you wanted to, you could vote for 3, but yeah, the max is 5 that you can choose. If you don't choose to vote for any PREPs, it'll just be distributed to the 3 main teams that worked on Omm, so ICX Station, IBRIS, and ourselves. So, but yeah, it will be really great to have people be able to choose who they get to vote for. When we did user testing, that actually seemed to be one of the things we got the most feedback on. Was the people were very they were looking forward to having the ability to be able to delegate where their ICX went. So it will be very interesting to see how the votes do start to change once that becomes available.
You're just adding the utility to the token. You know, selection is value, so I do think it will add a bit of value to the token because of it.
Right. Yeah.
And in to voters' credit, that is exactly what we want to see, right? We want people caring about where the ICX is getting allocated, because all of a sudden they're starting to click, yep, these are teams that are building, these are teams that are doing, etc. So it's great to see, great to hear as well. Cool. I think for me, just looking through, I feel like I'm hoping I've covered all the Omm and balance questions. I have some cheeky ones. I noticed, I was going to say Shikamaru, TJ's on. I thought we have a little bit of time, do we? What's the time? Oh, 10 minutes. Okay. I thought I wanted to quickly ask around CPS. I think it would be great to get a brief update on that. There's a lot brewing there as well. But before we jump, Lisa, Peter, Scott, anything you want to close off with?
Hold on, Geo dude is panicking, asking a
Is
question
he?
in the.
Oh my god! Look at him. He's trying. Why won't you just talk to me, Geo? Please. Okay. Oh, there's lots of questions. Wait.
He just has the one. He said, "So when can we get that vote choosing feature for Balance?"
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't have a specific timeline on that one yet, but since Omm already has the code in place, I would say it shouldn't be all that difficult. It's more about the front end and user interface development. But if anybody is very excited and wants it at the top of the priority list, they can certainly open a pull request on our smart contract repo.
Geodude seems excited.
Well, so.
You know, Scott says this line a lot to me, I've noticed, especially when I ask him questions, this and that. He'll say, oh, it's there. You just have to, go directly to smart contract. And obviously I run away because I have no idea how to do that. But Geo, if you're listening, come on, there you go. We just have to assemble a separate team and do all these things and just give it, send through a pull request.
We do want to add the ability to vote for PREPs. That was something that we always included in our original designs. So I think once we've done the first community governance so that people can submit their own proposals, then we would like to get the PREP functionality in there because it is quite an important part, especially with so much ICX collateral in there. We should be allowing people to have that choice, especially if some of the main participants are PREPs, we should be allowing them to have that option.
Yeah, no, it should also increase TVL if people, that are self-delegating are able to deposit and balance and then still be able to delegate with the balance tokens they have.
Cool. No, that's great. Okay. I guess coming back to any closing words, Lisa, Peter?
Not too much, really. Just thank you, everyone, for supporting the project so far. It's been great to see the participation already so high, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, just cheers. Our anxiety has been through the roof the last couple of days, so it's nice to get it out, and we want to keep on polishing and making everything just better and better.
Yep. No,
I'll just go ahead and echo those two.
Excellent. No, it's great work. It's better decided for leave just from everyone's when Omm. Now it's there, it's happened, it's out there. So it's great to see. So okay, look, just before we close it off, I think CPS. So TJ, I don't know if you can talk. I was just wanting to see any if you could give a bit of an update on how things are going with CPS. I know originally, you were looking to hopefully move some of the CPS treasury into a stablecoin to ensure, we don't have that much slippage from the treasury every time, and projects can anticipate and price themselves up a bit better. How are things going on that front?
Yeah, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. It's going really well. I've been working with Hybrids, obviously the team that developed CPS, and I'm almost positive that the coding part of the stablecoin treasury is done. So they've just been doing a bunch of tests, make sure that there's no vulnerabilities and that it's working properly. But overall, it should be coming out pretty soon. There's not like an exact timeline on that part of the developments. And then we've also been working on improving the landing page of the CPS. So a lot of different DeFi grant programs have kind of a more basic landing page than I wouldn't even really call ours a landing page per se, but they have like a landing page that kind of hooks in the developers, gives them a little bit of education on what their grant program is and then how to apply. And that's kind of what we're going to be going for on our landing page, is just a bit more educational and make it a bit easier for people to understand what the CPS is and then how to apply. So that's starting to be worked on now by the iBridge team. And then the other kind of main thing that I've been working on recently is I'm gonna try to add some, like, maybe not tutorials, but like instructions on icondev.io. So right now that's kind of where developers go to learn how to like program scores and whatnot. And the plan is to have like a CPS section where basically explains how to request a proposal, how to for P reps, how to vote, just different instructions. And we just see like synergies where most people that are building from the CPS are developers and need to know how to program scores anyways. And then vice versa, people who are programming scores might come across the CPS section and realize they can get funding. So overall, we just want the CPS to be a better experience for those that are receiving grants, because obviously in the long run, that'll help bolster the ecosystem growth of Icon in general.
Yeah, and one of the things I saw you tweet out today is encouraging teams that have actually, taken part in CPS and actually built their product and finished it and delivered it, what the experience has been like, sharing a bit of that to raise a bit of awareness. So even I'll echo that, because I know there's a few teams that have released and done the entire process. So a real good call out to make sure, if anyone listening, not live, but in the recorded session, do take the time to shout that out. I think one of the other things, TJ, and you're going to kill me now, you really are, what I think I'm excited to see happen as well once we have the stable coin is kind of start using CPS and the money Legos to enable, lossless funding of projects, etc. Once we have a stable coin and things sitting in the treasury, we can kind of leverage into Omm or to generate interest, and then use that interest in a certain way in CPS. So what I'm getting at is, like, right now, I keep coming back to this. The CPS is just like a core fund, and what we can kind of build to off it is not just projects, but we can kind of leverage that fund into other ways of funding projects. And that stuff hasn't even started in our ecosystem yet. So I'm very excited to see, TJ, product manager, what you have on the horizon over there. I've already seen you drop hints of possibilities. So I'm very excited to see what the future brings in that space.
Yeah, I am going to kill you because this is still, I guess I would say, something that's being discussed, just in terms of the fact that I think there's a lot of like points on both sides of things, whether or not to use the funds to basically yield farm on our DeFi platforms. I think it's tough because it's not like it's like a treasury DAO of some protocol. It's more of just a funding platform in general. And especially with like 2.0 coming out, there's not really going to be a lack of funding in general. So it's basically like a trade-off on, do we want to basically take risk with part of our funds and use them on DeFi platforms, or do you want to almost essentially burn them once the CPS is full? So it, like I said, there's an argument to both sides of things, and that is something we're still thinking about. But yeah, I wasn't expecting you to bring that up again.
No, that's what I had. Sorry, didn't mean to throw it at you. I just meant the possibilities that we can go down. We haven't even scratched yet, so exciting to see what we come up with. I think the more we have builders coming on platform, the better it is, right? So if they're wanting to suck up funds or create new ways of attaining funds via CPS, it'll be good to see. Cool. I think, sorry, TJ, threw you under the bus there, but thank you. Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
cool.
no worries.
No worries. Okay, I think that's all. I think that's the hour. Everyone has to get going. So once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who showed. I know Dakey couldn't talk. I noticed Ricky was here as well. So thank you for all the support and coming into the call and listening in. I'll try to figure out why people couldn't talk when they actually wanted to. I did test everything and it worked before, so we'll play around and see what happens there. But thank you, everyone, for joining. Let's close out the session if there's no questions.
Thanks again, Fez. Take it easy, man.
No worries. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Fez.
Bye. Bye.
See ya.